What's up, guys? Just an update on the build. Sorry I haven't been making any videos lately. I had promised I was going to try to make a video weekly on this build, but I recently just had another kid, so just been busy with that, and didn't have time to come in the garage and try to get this completed. So just wanted to give you guys an update on this. I went ahead and installed the clutch, the pressure plate and the clutch disc to the flywheel. When I installed the transmission and the motor together, I didn't install the clutch together, so I had got that done, and then as well as the clutch cylinder. So those two are both installed. Now we're just waiting on to getting this intake side done, which I am having my friend complete that part. Just the fuel side portion of it, the fuel pump and the fuel lines, because we decided on running a -8 fuel line from the fuel tank. So I did not want to put all this together and then having to take that out again when we start running the lines and how we want to run the lines. So I'm leaving this open completely for right now. We do have to do the power steering, which will be the last thing to do because that's all right here, and I'm not too worried about it at the moment. I just got done the drain line for the turbo. I've been having some fitment issue, one being that this is sitting way too close to the runner. At first this was touching the runner, and I was getting a little concerned because the coupler is basically was rubbing the runner, so obviously it'll melt. But I ended up having to rotate this a little bit more to the left, so that way that we have some clearance. So I have about 2 inches of clearance here. And then obviously then I had to grind this manifold down a little bit over here, just because this little tube, which we got from Boost Lab for the drainage, it was basically rubbing, and it wasn't letting the turbo sit on the manifold itself. So I've been grinding that down a little bit as much as possible, just so that this clears a little bit. So got that done, and then went ahead and got the drain line done for the turbo. Things left to do for the exhaust side is to go ahead and completely bolt this down, which will happen possibly later today or tomorrow. We do still need to get this drill and tap for boost solenoids for the boost control. So we do need to get that done, which will be later today. So that's to be soon. And then once this gets installed, drill and tap, we're going to go ahead and bolt this down completely, get the feed to the turbo installed to the block, which I do have the line sitting. And then tighten all these lines down for the exhaust side, and then go ahead and install the intake side, the pipe, which I do have sitting right over there. And then we're going to go ahead and install the blow off to the side on that intercooler piping. So that's what we have going on here. And then obviously we do have the coolant lower radiator pipe sitting on one of the shelves. We're gonna go ahead and install that along with the radiator, which I think I'll wait on the installing the radiator later, just because we do have things going on the other side, and I don't want to start installing radiator and then having to rub it and then start damaging the fins. So I'm gonna install the radiator later, just because I don't want to damage it. The reason why I installed the intercooler is because all these measurement stuff, I do need piping mounted to make sure that I have clearance here and everything else here. So that's why the intercooler is mounted. So exhaust goal is to get the exhaust done later tonight or tomorrow. Obviously get this drill and tap for the boost cylinder. Once that's done, I can go ahead and bolt the turbo down, tighten the drain line, and then I am not going to install the downpipe at the moment, just because I do need to do the coolant lines, which I do need to figure out what the size is for the coolant line from here to here. Once I figure that out, get the hose and then install that. And then I also need to go ahead and figure out the hose from there to here. I did order one from Rock Auto, ended up being too short, and it was like up to here, which makes no sense. I do need like another 5 to 6 more inches, so I gotta figure out what people are using, because I need a 90 straight into this little hole, and then obviously this is going to the inside of the firewall, and that firewall out to the block. So once I get that installed, then I am gonna go ahead and install the downpipe as well as the wastegate, which is gonna be down there. The original goal was to get this wrapped, but I started attempting that yesterday. It was just becoming too much of a mess, and it was taking too long. And then we ended up rotating a little bit, this out a little bit, just so that way we have clearance, so it doesn't damage the coupler. So that's that. So just want to give you guys an update on this. We do still have a lot to going on. So once that's exhaust side is done, we're gonna focus on getting the fuel lines done. Once the fuel lines is done, obviously everything else is gonna get installed on this side. The lower intake, fuel rail, fuel injectors. Once those guys get installed, I'm gonna go ahead and figure out the power steering. Obviously the sensor for the oil pressure is gonna go there. And then upper intake manifold, I gotta figure out which ones I need to block, which ones I don't need to, because we are not, I believe this hose right here will be plugged, since we're not running the around the block pipe to the IAC and then IAC straight down to the head. So this will be blocked. So once I get those sorted out, then we're gonna go ahead and install the harness, and then I'll install the upper intake manifold. And then obviously I do need to do the throttle body. Once all that's taken care of, I am gonna go ahead and start doing the wiring for the starter to the battery to the alternator, and then obviously fuel pump from the battery to the fuel pump, because we are gonna do the fuel 12 volt mod for the fuel pump. So I believe he's using a Helicat pump. I do have to double check. It could be a 425 or a Helicat pump, Walbro. Yeah, the build is coming along. It should be done soon, depending on all the parts that I need are available and I get parts on hand. I am still waiting on block plate, which should have came 3 days ago, hasn't. So that's where that's gonna go. And then I gotta order the the oil dipstick. That's what I'm gonna need to order. Then I also need to find the inspection plates for the bell housing, and as well as there's a small cover that goes on the front of the bell housing. I do need to find that as well and install that, so that way there's no rocks or dirt go inside the clutch, or obviously damage it. So I do need to find that, and then that'll be done. And then we're hoping that what is it, October 6th today, so hopefully by the end of the month we're going to try to see if we can turn this car over. That's my goal. And then make sure there's no leaks, no any issues with the car. Oh, we also do have to get a drive shaft for this car, and that's not sure how long that's gonna take. We do have to take some measurements and then send it out to Drift Motion in California to get that drive shaft made, and then obviously shipped out here to get installed. Obviously we cannot run the car with the drive shaft, because obviously we're gonna have some movement, parts moving, and I don't want to fill the trans and to leak since there's no drive shaft. So that's that. So a couple of things we're still waiting on, things we still need to put on, still we need to do as to turbo wise, drill tap and stuff. So stay tuned, guys. Subscribe, follow. I'll have more videos soon. Just been busy with personal stuff, and now I should have some time freeing up. So I want to get this car done, show you guys exactly what we did from the beginning until the end and the result. So stay tuned. Thank you.